Are you interested in an RF mount Canon cinema camera? Well, if you are, good news. Canon is developing and working on an RF mount cinema camera. And stick around for my behind the scenes where I take a look at Fiverr.
Delivering informative capability-based reviews and tutorials on camera gear, filming techniques, and content creation.
Hi, it's Simon from The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, please click like and subscribe as it really helps support my channel. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, they're located in the description down below. Canon Rumors reports that Canon is working on the development of an RF mount or an RF lens mount for a cinema camera. Now there's no mention, there's no discussion as to whether the rumored Canon C300 Mark III is going to have that new mount. It's potential, it's possible. Now I put out a poll just a little while ago and about 20–30% of you said, yeah, no way that's going to happen, not for this release. But a good portion of you, 40% of you, think that, yeah, it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I mean, it's no surprise that Canon is working on the development of an RF mount for the cinema cameras. All the cinema cameras will work on the EF mount. Canon stopped production, or more or less stopped innovating, coming up with new lenses for the EF mount. And they've even stated that they're going full force into the RF mount. So it's a matter of time. It's not if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And what I expect is that we'll be able to take that adapter and be able to take that EF lens or that EF glass and be able to mount it onto the new cameras when they do support that RF mount. So there's no surprises there. There is another announcement. We also have a rumor. This one's not as credible. Again, it comes from Canon Rumors. It's a CR1. And a CR1 is more of a speculative, whereas the one on the development of the RF mount cinema camera is a CR2, which is far more credible, comes from trusted sources. And in this rumor, they're talking about an RF 85mm f2 image stabilized STM lens. So this will probably be a lower end of the price budget. It's an STM. They're generally not very expensive lenses. So this is more for the ordinary filmmaker, whereas those cinema cameras, yeah, they're definitely not for us. In this segment of Behind the Scenes, I'm going to take a look at Fiverr, how I've used it, and how it's helped me. Here I am today, 5 months into having a YouTube channel, and I'm at 3,500 subscribers. There's been many factors that have allowed me to get there, and one of them is Fiverr. I had a poll recently, and I asked you, are you planning on using Fiverr? Do you use Fiverr? Is it something you're thinking of using? And only 9% of you thought it was effective. Now, you do have to be careful with Fiverr. It's a tool, and if you don't use the tool correctly, you're not going to get very good results. So I'm going to tell you how I used Fiverr. If you look at my intro, and here it is.
Delivering informative capability-based reviews and tutorials on camera gear, filming techniques, and content creation.
That required 3 separate contracts, and it cost less than $100 US. The first thing I did is I needed a logo. And I wasn't really sure what I needed there. I also needed an animation. And again, I didn't know what I wanted to look like, and I needed a voiceover. Again, no idea. I knew I needed help. I saw many websites. I saw Peter Gregg. I saw Fronos. I've seen many different channels. And I knew I wanted something quick. It's just like television shows these days. They have a very, very quick intro that maybe lasts 5 seconds or less. And that's it. But in order to start the process, I needed a logo. So what I did is I looked online, and for this particular contract, I used a person by the name of Bashra, and I think it cost around $10 or $12 US. And I was very careful in requesting, and I said, look, I really don't know what I want. Here's my YouTube channel. This is what it's about. This is my vision. So I already had a vision, and that's very important. So if you're going to create an intro and an outro, and you don't want to waste money, have your vision already established, because that vision is your guiding light. And that's very important for creating a logo, for any animation, for any intros or outros. So I had that, and I said to her, and I said, Bashra, what I want you to do is I want you to use your creative energy, and I want you to come up with a couple of designs for me. So she came up with a few designs, and I said, okay, I like this, but I don't like this. Please change this. There was font changes. There was color changes. There was slight changes to the designs. So one thing is very, very important. If you're going to get a logo design, make sure you choose a person or a company that will allow you to make many different iterations or revisions. And I think the term they use is revision, so be very careful about that. So once I had my logo, I was now ready to go ahead and get an animation. There were so many different providers. I have a lot of reservations when it comes to the reviews on a lot of these services. And the reason is all too often, many of them are just very short. Excellent, we'll work with him again. You know, all that kind of stuff that's very vague and generalized, nothing specific. And that leads me to doubt their authenticity. Because if you've got 10 or more reviews, some of them are going to go into detail. And I'm looking for that detail because I believe that's where I'm going to get some honesty, some kernel of truth. I took a different approach with the animation. What you can do is you can actually post a request. For those of you who do purchasing in corporations, you might be familiar with the tool request for proposal. And a request for proposal is when you have an idea of what you want, but you don't know how to necessarily do it, but you know you need professional services. And that's what I'm looking for here. So for the animation, and I'm going to tell, this is really awesome too, because if you just put out a general request, you're going to get a ton of responses, a minimum of 30. And you want to cut through the noise. So this is what I did. I said, I have a YouTube channel. I told them a little bit about it. I told them my vision. I said, I am looking for animation. And I'm going to award to the person or company that can best tell me how they're going to deliver on what I need. So what you're asking for them to do is they have to look at your website, they have to read a little bit and understand, and then they have to tell you a little bit of what they're planning on doing. 90%, at least 90% of the responses I got were just cookie cutter. And you don't want cookie cutter. What they put out on their site is been scrubbed, it's marketed, it's been really designed, and they're wearing their Sunday best, so to speak. So by putting out a request, they're having to think. They're having to think on their feet. They're having to put something together. And for the ones that just simply took what they had on their site and just pasted in there, I ignored all those. And it was very quick. It was very simple to, or very easy to be able to see who was just giving you their basic selling pitch, and those that were actually answering the questions I put in there, because right away you can see they'll address you by name and they'll say, I've looked at your site and blah, blah, blah. So I looked at those and I had about 3 to 5 of them. And one of them was ARC Solutions. They weren't the cheapest by far. And I know I could have gotten this done cheaper. I think it cost around $50 or $55 US. But I really liked the results. And I didn't want to have to duplicate this again. So I went with ARC Results. But Peter Gregg has done this, and others that I know have done it as well. And it's cost a whole lot less. I think you can get animations done for as little as $15 or $20. But I liked ARC Solutions. They told me how that they could deliver something that would be perfect for my site. So I went with them. And they allowed multiple revisions as well. I really liked the first approach they came up with, and that's what you see there. It's simple. It tells a story. But it was it was missing a punch. There's something missing there. Well, and that was the voiceover. So I knew at this point, yes, I definitely needed a voiceover. They provided some decent music or some theme music. I just dropped the amplitude of that or the volume a little bit. Then I went looking for a voice. I thought of using my own, and I thought, no, this is, I want to get a professional, I want to get it done quick. And I looked, and I actually stumbled across a gentleman by the name of John T. Cole. He had a very, very good introduction. He had some samples of his work, and that goes a long way too. Individuals that provide you samples of their work helps give you an idea of the caliber of the work that they can do. And ARC Solutions did that. John T. Cole did that. Bashra didn't have as much. She was relatively new, but I liked how she responded to my questions, so I gave her a shot. John T. Cole was really good, and so I reached out to him, asked him if he could help me. He charged $12. Now that $12 gave me 50 words. That's enough for an intro and an outro. But it seemed a little too cheap. He's based in the United States, high standard of living. So I asked him, I said, well, does this give me everything I need? I see options for things that are like $60 for a WAV file. but you don't need a WAV file for YouTube. An MP3 is more than sufficient enough. If you're doing broadcast work or professional work, then yes, you're going to get into higher costs, but it was only $12. So I went ahead and hired John. I gave him the words for the intro, and I gave him the words for the outro. Now, at the end of my video, that screenshot that you see, or that banner you see, that was done with the logo. So that's called a banner. Generally, an intro will include the intro itself, or sorry, the logo design include a banner as well. So you get the logo, you get a banner, and that's how I did the outro. So the outro was done really cheap, really simple. I didn't need a fancy logo, animation. I mean, really, what's the point? The beginning is the most important part. That's where you want to grab people's attention. You want to let them know that, yeah, you're serious. You've gone ahead and created a really good intro. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. And that's what I've said before in many of my other videos. Whatever you do, it needs to be clear, your message. It needs to be concise. Make it as short as it needs to be. It needs to be coherent. It needs to make sense. So you've got your vision. Does it make sense? Sure, it's short, it's concise, but do people understand what it means? So again, doing all that background work is very, very important. So I got the results back from John, and it sounded pretty good. Now, one of the things John asked me, he says, well, let me know which voice you want, because on his video it says these are the different types of voice. And I said, look, John, I'm a YouTube channel. Please use your subject matter expertise to tell me what you think you should give me. And John did such a great job, I didn't have to do any other revisions. So I think it was $12 for John, $10 for Bashra, US, so that's $22. And let's say $55 for the logo, $22, $55, $77. So $77 US, I had an intro and an outro. And I'm very, very happy with that process. But remember, use request. And don't just go out and start talking to people necessarily for some of the really complicated stuff. And you want to make sure they allow multiple revisions. 3 is the bare minimum. I would say at least 5, because you'd be amazed at how many times you'll do revisions. I used to work in desktop publishing, and I worked for an investment bank. And I kid you not, we would get easily 15 to 30 revisions on a single report. So those revisions are very, very important. But Fiverr's not limited to that. You can also use Fiverr for promoting your channel, for promoting videos, for getting more likes, more subscribes. And this is where you have to be very, 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 very careful. And the reason is, you can easily violate the YouTube terms of service. Now, you can promote your channel. You can advertise videos. Google AdWords or Google AdSense, through their Google advertising program, they will do that for you. But there are services on Fiverr that'll say, you know, we'll get you 20,000 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers, or we'll increase your subscriber count. You got to watch out for the language. Some of them, they'll just use bots, and that doesn't help you. Sure, it gets you to your 1,000 minimum subs, but you'll get a spike. It's not from real people, and you're already violating YouTube terms of service, and you definitely don't want that. Now, in terms of promoting it organically, and that's the term you'll see, but just because a vendor says they will do it organically doesn't mean they're not using bots. Look at the reviews. You got to be very, very careful with this. And here's another thing. If you're new, if you've got 200 subscribers, 100 subscribers, 50 subscribers, and you're thinking of using this, yes, I know you want to get to that 1,000 mark. And I know what it's like to want to get there. You got to look at the cost. Even some of the cheapest ones are $5 or $10, and they will violate the YouTube terms of agreement most of the times, or they're not going to get you the results. So if they're using bots to go ahead and get you the subscribers, you'll probably end up with them, and you'll end up at risk of being smacked by YouTube, and you definitely don't want that. If you want to go ahead and advertise your videos, and I've looked at doing it, I've looked at taking some of my more popular videos like the R5 and using services to go ahead and promote it. And here's the problem I found out. When I go ahead and look at the cost to do this and how much I get back on each video from YouTube, because YouTube Analytics will show you this information. They'll show you how much your videos are making. And in most cases, it's going to cost you more to promote the video if you're starting out. And even at this level here at 3,500 subscribers, it's going to cost me more to hire somebody to promote it legitimately, then I'm going to get back. So I have to ask myself, does this help me reach my goals or objectives? Sure, I'll probably get more subscribers out of it, and that's one thing. You will get subscribers, you'll get more likes, and you'll get more views. But there's no shortcut. And what I found is anything to do with promoting likes, views, and subscribes is the return on investment is negative. I really wouldn't go down that route for that. I've got a couple of other videos where I talked about getting to my first 1,000 subscribers. This video was done back in December. It's when I was very new. So the quality of the production isn't the greatest, but there's a lot of really, really good information in there. By day, I'm an enterprise architect. It's all about strategic value and how do you drive that strategic value. It's about your business architecture. It's about having a vision and a mission, goals and objectives, because that keeps you on the rails, so to speak. So that stuff is very, very important. And there really are no shortcuts. The other video that I have is about getting to 1,000 subscribers. And this is a good follow-up to the previous video and gives you more information on how you get there. And how I got monetized, it was within 2.5 months. I got there not because of everything I said you should do, which is true, but it was one video alone. I happened to be on a topic that was very topical at the time. It was a rumored Canon EOS R Mark II, which is now supposed to be the R5. And nobody else was talking about it. So it took off. I got 40,000 views on that video. Within a week, my channel was monetized. I had over 1,000 subscribers and I had over 4,000 watched hours. Now, once I hit about 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, on an average month, I was getting 2,000 to 3,000 watched hours. I'm now at about 7,000 watched hours each month. So it doesn't take, it seems like it at the beginning, it takes forever to get to 50 subscribers. It takes forever to get to 100. But once you get past 100, if you keep tweaking, if you keep working at making yourself better, you're going to see those numbers go up. Whereas now I'm averaging a minimum of 15 subscribers a day, and that easily averages around 25 to 30. And I keep tweaking it. I just changed my studio setup. I brought a desk downstairs, and I just put this top on top of my table because I was getting too much of a reflection. It was causing a problem with the green screen, and I was having to do much fixing in post, and this is helping me out. So again, this is a tweak over last week. It's a never endless series of tweaks. You produce your video, you tweak it, you release another. You should be doing at least a minimum of one video a week. And if you're starting out, don't wait a week. Release a video, think about it, review it, what can you do differently, then immediately get into doing another. Try to do 3 to 4 videos a week. And what you're going to notice is you're going to get more attention. People who subscribe are going to start paying more attention to you because they realize, oh, this is not just one video. But put effort in. You may not have the best lighting. You may not have the best audio. You may not have the best sets. I still don't. But if you think carefully, if you think out your material ahead of time, whether you're using a teleprompter or speaking directly off teleprompter, which is what I'm doing now, I'm not using a teleprompter, people are going to take you seriously. Think of why you watch YouTube, what personalities attract you, and think about that presentation. That presentation is very, very important. I've got a lot of professionals, a lot of people that are far more knowledgeable than me watching my channel. One of the reasons is for that is my commitment to delivering news and rumors as they happen. I don't let them get stale. I usually deliver within 8 to 24 hours of when they're announced. And I have a day job. So quite often, like this one here, I'm recording it just before work. At lunchtime, I'll do some editing or a break time, and usually I'll get these out sometime in the evening. But that's my commitment. So again, watch those other 2 videos. I've got the links to them in the description down below. Focus on your presentation. Focus on tweaking and improving each video. This might be fun for you, and that's good news. It should be fun. But keep tweaking, keep improving, and it's going to be more fun because you're going to see more and more people subscribing to you. I can't believe 5 months later, I'm at 3,500 subscribers. As one of my subscribers said to me, I think it was just yesterday, you're going to be at 5,000 in no time, and you're going to be at 10,000 before the year's out. Don't forget me when you get to 100,000 subscribers. And I believe now more than ever that is doable. But I believe it's doable because I'm listening to others, I'm networking, I'm networking with Gregg. Look at my video on the, not the Tascam, I was going to say the Tascam. It's, this is one of the problems when you're not using a teleprompter. You tend to forget things sometimes. I published this video on the weekend. It's related to the, not the eCam, it's for live streaming, what is it? I'm not going to cut this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to remember it. What is it? Oh, I hate that it was on the tip of your tongue. But it's the device that allows you to hook multiple cameras in. It was on the weekend. Take a look at that video. And Gregg was very, very helpful there. He's been mentoring me all along. But I've also watched other people like Think Media. Think Media puts out an awful lot of really good videos about what you need to work on. You're looking at a mic. Matty Hapluge, he had a really good video about shotgun mics, where if I'm outside shooting, you want this kind of shotgun mic because it captures more ambience, more of the surrounding sound, which is what you want. You want it to feel whole and holistic. But when you're shooting in a studio, you don't want to pick up on all those extra sounds. You want to focus on the audio from your presenter. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not using a shotgun mic here. I'm using the Tascam DR10L here because I find that gives me better results. My basement is well insulated. I've got carpet with under padding. I've got insulation, so it absorbs sound very well, and it's a wide open space, so the sound dies out as well. But that's it for today. If you have any questions, and I mean any questions at all, if you're having troubles with your channel, if you're having troubles with your website, anything related to what I've talked about here today, go ahead and drop me a comment down below, and I'll get back to you. As you can see from all my videos, I do respond. I usually respond very quickly. I do read all my comments, and I do appreciate your participation. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. All equipment used and notes are placed in the description box, show more box, or down arrow thingy next to the title on the mobile app.